Hey everybody, thanks for joining me on this soloing strategies video lesson here. This is not going to be super fancy, but it's very important. I think it's a good strategy and approach to soloing using scales. And the song that I'm using here is All of Me. You can see I have a backing track. It's actually Gonzalo Bergara's great gypsy jazz guitar player. You can get any backing track on YouTube or make your own backing tracks on a loop pedal or use iReal Pro or whatever your favorite app is for backing tracks. I'm kind of lazy regarding backing tracks, so I just go straight to YouTube. So the idea here is to choose some scales. All of Me is actually a great song to discuss scale choices here. So that's partially what I'm going to do is talk about a little bit of some strategy, some ideas, some fretboard concepts here. This will just be a brief video if you want to join in on my workshop I'm going to be offering in October and November. My soloing strategies. It's called Easy Soloing, the first part of it. I mean, that hopefully how I present it and share it with you is easy. But of course, it will take some practicing on your end too to understand and master these concepts. And I'll be also sharing a whole bunch of exercises, etudes to demonstrate and for you to practice along with me. Of course, I have lots of sound slice practice videos and etudes all on Patreon. If you're not already a member, please do consider and check out my Patreon online music community for all of my materials. All right, so let's get on to some shop talk here. We're in the key of C. Always you wanna know what key center you're in. All of Me, in this case, key of C. That's the standard key. So we have the one chord, C major, and that one might be played as C major 7, C6. We don't know, C6 9, whatever you. If you're a gypsy jazzer, you'll probably use C6 9. All right, so but it's a major chord. So the scale that I'm going to use is C major, and I'm going to show it to you. This is kind of the concept here. Is two concepts of number one, to how to choose your scales and to stick with it when you're soloing, so that you create that flavor that you're going for. And right now we're actually talking about these scales. So C major, C chord, C major scale. I'm going to play it on the 5th fret. This is the other important part of it here, is choosing the location. I'm going to say in the 5th position here, so I'm going to kind of be thinking A. So if we're in the key of C major, that's relative to A minor. So I'm kind of thinking this scale, A Aeolian. Okay, and hopefully you know that. If not, again, refer back to my master scale syllabus where I have all of the scales written out on one root note. It's important to stay on one root note. I have it on G, but you can start on any note, starting on the 6th string in this case, to fully use the range of the guitar. However, that being said, I also like to limit myself to one string. I like to limit myself to 3 strings as an exercise. So these are little games that I like to play, but it's also very musical. So we're going to choose our scales. This is just a brief introduction to this again. Hopefully you'll want to take my workshop if you want to know more about this, and or check out my Patreon materials. And I'm going to have this particular exercise written out. It's actually a concept, but I'm going to write it out as an etude. Okay, this is kind of the scale selection. The other thing here that I'm going to start with is another game of just sticking with quarter notes, like I'm walking a bass line. Okay, so let's take a C scale. I'm actually going to start here, right on C. So here's C major. That was 1 octave, right? So when we're playing through the changes, as we're going to do in All of Me in a moment here, we want to keep our lines flowing through the changes. I mean, this is again an exercise. You want to add rhythm and phrasing, but this is a good exercise to start with if you're not used to this. It's just to walk quarter notes here. Let me turn down the volume. And I'm like a bass player, like you're walking a quarter note line. Now on the E7 here, okay, this is where it's subjective. I'm going to choose A harmonic minor. E7, here's A harmonic minor. And that gives us, if you're thinking of an off of E7 chord, there's a lot of theory here, but it gives us a flat 9, this F natural. It also gives us a C natural here, which is a sharp 5 or a flat 13, however you want to think of it. So it's a little bit darker, but those are the considerations you want to think about when choosing a scale on a dominant chord, you actually have a lot of possibilities. Not so much on a major minor chord, but on the dominant chord, you can alter it quite a bit. Generally, I like minor chords. I can alter it, the sixth and the seventh degree, and you can add color tones. Just listen to Django Reinhardt. He was choosing some funky notes sometimes on major and minor chords. All right, so but we're gonna keep it a little bit more standard for this. So on E7, I'm thinking A harmonic minor. So what does that mean for us? We start with A Aeolian, which is C major. Okay, those quarter notes, and then check it out. And that was for the E7 because those are quarter notes. So if I was counting rhythm, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're on a G minor 6 here. Well, at least on Gonzalo's version, a lot of people just go straight to A7. He's doing a 2-5 into D minor here. So you can omit that and just sing A7. So now I'm thinking D harmonic minor. Okay, so I want to continue my line here. Notice I kept that quarter note line walking through the changes. That's important. D harmonic minor. You have a B flat. So again, this is where hopefully you have that scale sheet in front of you and you think, okay, here's D, A7, or G minor 6 for that matter. You could go E half tone, same thing. But this is so that's D harmonic minor, has a B flat and a C sharp. We're not in the key of C. You can't really just stay on a C major scale for the whole song of All of Me. It doesn't sound good. You have to play the changes. Send me a video of somebody playing just key of C, and I'll be pretty impressed. I mean, you can get kind of bluesy, that being said, too. Kind of fake it. But I think, again, if you want to learn to play the changes, which is what this video is about, this exercise is great. So check it out. So far we have C major, E harmonic minor, or A harmonic minor, while on the E7, that was D harmonic minor. Now once we arrive to the D minor, that was through the A7 essentially for 2 measures, so 8 beats, or 8 quarter notes of D harmonic minor. Now once we arrive to the 2 chord D minor, D Dorian, which is just back to the key of C. So wherever we happen to be at, we should try to keep our line going. This is D Dorian. Now back to E7, back to A harmonic minor, and then now we're right here, by the way, follow my cursor on the A minor 6. I'm just going to go to A Dorian. That's pretty stock. And D7, same thing. Well, maybe I'll color it up a little bit here. This is a little bit more advanced. This will be still covered in the workshop, is choosing some color scales on dominant chords like we're doing the harmonic minor, not mixolydian. I'm going to choose, ready for this, on the D7, I want this color. That has a flat 5 in there. D9, flat 5, or sharp 11. I'm going to choose A melodic minor. If you knew that, that's great. If not, then you'll learn it. And that's D9, sharp 11. And then once it goes back to the, and I'll again talk about the theory of that, this is just to add some color. This is, again, going beyond blues scale and pentatonics. This is more modal and harmonic minor and melodic minor. We can add whole tone scale and diminished scales later. And then D minor to G7, I am just going to go to D Dorian for that, or A Aeolian for that matter. See, I'm staying all in this position, the 5th fret. You'll see my hands. I can slow it down too when we play along here with this backing track. I'm not sure his tempo here. But I'll just stop right there. I won't continue on. I mean, basically, the song kind of repeats the next 8 bars. It's the final 8 that's a little bit different and special, and I'll talk about that. That'll be on the Patreon full video here. This is more of an introduction to you to 2 concepts: scales choice, scale selection, staying within one position, and keeping a quarter note line going. You can embellish on that later too, of course, but try to have these limitations on yourself, these little games. Okay, let's check that out.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
A Dorian, melodic minor, Dorian, through the whole song. Top. Harmonic. Harmonic. Dorian. Harmonic A. Dorian. Melodic. A melodic. D Dorian. Now I'm seeing on top 3 strings. Harmonic. F major coming up. I had a little trick. Do a little arpeggio. Scale sequence. A lot of games. So again, I'm going to stop it there. It's kind of fun, and that was a little bit brisker of a tempo than I was thinking for me to talk about all this stuff. But I was applying this concept here of navigating through the changes using these various scales. Again, this is not a beginner exercise. You have to already know your modes. Again, starting on one root position is very important. Check out the worksheet for this. I'm going to have this all written out for all of me, this specific song for this. But, you know, sometimes it's very song specific. Not all songs use the same set of changes, like a 12-bar blues or rhythm changes. So, you know, it's good to work on different songs. Apply this concept. I also like How High the Moon, Blue Boss, or Minor Swing for that matter, Sweet Georgia Mountain, any of these great songs. Again, please consider joining in and taking my workshop. And that's, let's see, I'm gonna slow down and do one more demonstration here. I'm gonna go down to 75%. I'm gonna turn up the volume a little bit here. That means I might have to play a little bit harder. Again, I'm gonna try to yell it out as I'm doing it. It's a little bit challenging to do that, and I'm also just changing 1 or 2 notes in this position, this 5th fret position, to navigate through those changes. So let's try that again. I'm keeping the quarter note line going. I might add some rest, you know, meaning I might take a breath, but I'll try my best to keep the quarter note line going. I might change directions at any time, and that's all part of the game. You don't want to necessarily just only do one direction up and down. Have fun with it. But at first, I'm going to start with just the scales.
2,
Up and
1,
down.
2, 3, 4.
A harmonic. D harmonic. D Dorian. A harmonic minor. A Dorian. A melodic. Right here. And that's D Dorian. C major, which is Aeolian. A harmonic. Little slur. D harmonic. D Dorian. This is interesting. We're in F major, Aeolian, A harmonic. That's a little hack there. I'll talk about that. Sequence. Harmonic. D harmonic. You can have a lot of fun with it. You can add some arpeggios. I want to add some blue notes, but I'm going to avoid that. A melodic. Dorian. And hopefully you'll get the idea. I'm a little bit excited about trying out some other ideas there too. So I kind of just went with it. Did some arpeggio outlining, added some eighth notes, but just to demonstrate how this is a good springboard for some improvisation. And I strictly was in this fifth fret position. And then I would try it out in the next position, maybe on the eighth fret, and think about the different scales that I can do and the modes that would go along with it. Well, hey, I hope you enjoyed this little video lesson here on scale choices and giving you some strategies here. Please do consider joining Patreon if you want all of my lessons and all of my materials. Workshops, consider joining my upcoming workshop for the strategies. This is soloing strategies, or if you're into gypsy jazz. Also, I have my gypsy jazz course coming up here. It's called Gypsy Jazz Bootcamp and Repertoire. So thanks again. We'll see you all next time.